The distress calls echoed through the frost-laden forest long after the suns had set. Lena crouched beside her thermal tent, rifle ready, listening to the desperate yips that cut through the alien night. She had been warned about the Vraken, wolf-like, predators that prowled the wilderness of Kepler 442b, but these sounds were different, younger, frightened, against every protocol drilled into her during colonial training. Lena extinguished her perimeter lights and moved toward the cries. She found them huddled beneath a crystalline overhang. 2 Vraken cubs, barely the size of earth foxes, their silver-blue fur matted with something dark. Blood, she realized, not theirs, their mother's. The carcass lay 10 meters away, brought down by something with claws that could shred reinforced polymer. The cubs hadn't fled. They guarded her body, snarling with needle-sharp teeth at shadows. "Easy," Lena whispered, holstering her weapon. She recognized grief when she saw it, regardless of species. The cubs' eyes, 4 each arranged in an alien configuration, fixed on her with a mixture of terror and exhaustion. She moved slowly, removing a thermal blanket from her pack. When she tossed it near them, they flinched but didn't run. Hunger and cold were powerful motivators. It took an hour of patient coaxing, but eventually, Lena had both cubs wrapped in the blanket, their small bodies trembling against her chest. She carried them back to camp, their frightened whimpers gradually subsiding into exhausted silence. Inside her tent, Lena established a simple rule. She was the provider, not the threat. She offered them processed protein bars. Not ideal, but the cubs devoured them. She checked their bodies for injuries, finding only superficial cuts. As the temperature outside plummeted to -30°C, the cubs pressed against her sleeping bag, seeking warmth that their dead mother could no longer provide. Lena didn't sleep. She kept watch through the tent's transparent panel, knowing that whatever killed the mother might still be hunting. Raykor had been tracking the Skywalker for 3 cycles. The Alpha of the Northern Vraken had watched the strange creature descend from the stars in its metal shell, establishing territory where the ancient hunting grounds once thrived. His pack had learned caution around the Skywalkers. They wielded fire sticks that could kill from impossible distances. But this one was alone, vulnerable. When Raker discovered the slaughtered female and her missing cubs, rage clouded his judgment. The Thornback, a territorial apex predator, had done this. Such creatures didn't leave survivors. Yet the cubs' scent trail led directly to the Skywalker's camp. Had this human stolen his pack's young? Were they already dead, dissected for alien curiosity? Raker gathered his hunters, 8 of his strongest, and they moved through the pre-dawn darkness like silver ghosts. They would reclaim what was theirs, and if the cubs were lost, the Skywalker would pay with blood. But as the hunting party surrounded the camp, Raker froze. His cubs stood at the entrance of the human's shelter, their small forms silhouetted against the soft glow within. They weren't cowering. They weren't crying. They stood guard, their juvenile growls carrying a clear message. This territory is protected. Behind them, the human emerged. She was smaller than Raker had expected, her body lacking the natural weapons his kind possessed. No claws, no fangs. No protective fur against the killing cold. Yet she moved between his cubs and his hunting pack without hesitation, her fire stick aimed not at the cubs but at him. "Back off," the human said, her voice steady. "They're under my protection now." Raker's ears flattened. The audacity of this creature, to claim his pack's young, to stand against 8 fully grown, Vraken with nothing but a small metal tube and misplaced. Courage, one of his hunters lunged, the fire stick, spoke once, a sharp crack that sent a round into the frozen earth, centimeters from the hunter's paw. Not a kill shot, a warning. The hunter yelped and retreated. "I said," Lena repeated, chambering another round. "Back off." But it was what happened next that would be retold in Vraken dens for generations. The cubs, barely old enough to hunt, still mourning their mother, rushed forward. Not toward Raker and the safety of their pack, but toward the human. They positioned themselves between the woman and the hunters, their small bodies trembling with fear but their stance unmistakable. They were defending her. Raker's 4 eyes widened in disbelief. Cubs didn't defend non-pack members. Cubs didn't choose alien protectors over their own alpha. This violated every instinct, every law of the natural order. unless the human had already become pack. Lena saw the massive Vraken's posture shift, ears rising from their aggressive position. Head tilting in what might have been confusion, she lowered her rifle slightly, though her finger remained near the trigger. "I found them by their mother's body," she said quietly, unsure if the creature understood but needing to try. "I gave them warmth, food, safety, that's all." Raker studied the human with new eyes. Her shelter still radiated heat, precious heat that would have kept the cubs alive through the killing night. The remnants of food lay scattered near the entrance, and most telling, the cubs bore no injuries, no signs of mistreatment. They were clean, fed, and very much alive. The human hadn't stolen them. She had saved them. Slowly, Raker lowered himself to the ground, a gesture of non-aggression. His pack followed his lead, confusion rippling through their ranks. The alpha approached cautiously, and the human did something extraordinary. She lowered her weapon completely. The cubs, sensing the tension dissipating, ran to Raker, yipping their story in a language of scent and sound. They spoke of cold and terror, of a soft-pawed creature that didn't eat them but instead wrapped them in warmth, that stood guard while they slept, that offered food without demanding submission. Raker turned his massive head toward Lena. Their eyes met, predator and human, alpha and protector. In that moment, something fundamental shifted. Humans, the Vraken would learn, were not like other species. They didn't see cubs and think prey or resource. They saw vulnerability and responded with an instinct older than civilization itself. Compassion. As dawn broke over Kepler 442b, painting the frost-covered forest in shades of gold and purple, Raker made a decision that would change both their species' futures. He howled, not a battle cry but a declaration. The human was pack friend. Her territory was sanctuary. Any who threatened her would answer to the northern Vraken. Lena didn't understand the specifics, but she understood the tone. She nodded once to the alpha, a gesture of respect between equals. The cubs would return to their pack, but they would never forget the human who chose their lives over her own safety, and neither would Raker. In the vast, often hostile galaxy, humanity had earned something precious that morning, the loyalty of predators who valued honor above hunger. As the Vraken melted back into the forest, one of the cubs looked back at Lena, its 4 eyes gleaming with something that transcended species. Gratitude. Lena smiled, secured her camp, and added a single line to her colonial log. First contact, successful. Methods, unconventional. Status, pack friend. In the end, that was the most human thing of all.